they're in the situation now. What do we do? How do we build around it? Right. It's not enough right now, and I quite frankly I don't like anything that's on this roster. Right. So these are the free agents that's coming up: Torrey Craig, Bismarck Biyombo, Baisley, T.J. Warren, Damian Lee, Josh Okogie, Jock Landale, who I like in the playoffs. I like his energy. So I'm gonna the names that are highlighted. I'm gonna think about keeping. Everyone that's not highlighted, they're gone. Right. Wainwright, not bringing them back. Now these are guys that are playing basically for the vet minimum, most of them. So we gonna keep them all in mind when we try to build this roster, right? Terrence Ross I like as well. I just think he needed more time with that team to fit in and learn the offense and find his place. So I'm thinking about Terrence Ross. I'm thinking about Jock Landale just by the energy he brings and the effort and the hustle. You always need a guy like that. You never know when you're going to be able to plug him in and he going to give you something. And he's also a guy that's going to be appreciative just to be on the roster. So you don't have to play him if you don't want to, right? He can go a couple of games with DNPs, and then when you put him in, he can miss 2-3 straight games with no minutes, and then you put him in, he's going to play like he's the starter. So you never want to lose a guy like that. So I'm going to keep Jock Landale in mind, right? Jock Landale in mind. I'm definitely keeping Terrence Ross in mind. T.J. Warren, maybe, but I think I can get some better pieces, right? So these are the guys. I'm letting all of those go. Before I re-sign anybody, I'm letting all of them go. But Terrence Ross and Jock Landale and Josh Okogie, I'm thinking about, right? So what we have now is we know we got KD locked up, we got Booker locked up, we got Bradley Beal locked up, we got Ayton locked up, right? And there's one more guy, but just keep those four in mind because that's huge. That's like 160 mil of their roster. So right away we know we gotta get rid of Deandre Ayton's contract. And instead of me giving one guy 30 mil, I want to see if I can get two starters or maybe two really good players for that same amount, for that same 30 mil, right? I'd rather have two guys for 30 mil than one guy, or maybe I can even get three guys for 30 mil, right? So what I want to do is I want to go shopping. Well, first I want to see what I can get in a trade for Deandre Ayton. Let me bring this up real quick. There's one trade, and here's two trades, right? Okay, so let me bring this up real quick. Detroit Pistons. So this is what I'm thinking about. So Deandre Ayton, that's 30 mil, right? If I can get two guys, I can replace Deandre Ayton with another center, and I can get another guy that can start for me for that same amount. So I'm looking at Detroit. I'm looking at Jonathan Wiseman. They might be redundant at some positions because they got Jonathan Wiseman at the 5, but they also drafted his college teammate Durant, and he's playing 4 or 5, right? And then they also got Marvin Bagley, who's playing 4 and 5. So they got some redundancy at the 5 position, right? Can I give them a number 1 pick for another number 1 pick? Can I get them a former number 1 pick in Ayton for a former number 1 pick in Wiseman and swap that? Ayton has proved to be more helpful for his squads right now, but that salary is hurting me so much that I'm willing to downgrade a little bit to bring in the young kid that's unproven. Can I do that? And to make the money work, are you willing to come off of Bogdanovic? Because I know you got Cade Cunningham coming back. He's gonna need those minutes. You got Jaden Ivey. You got a lot of young people, which is interesting because this is where Monty Williams is at. What kind of relationship does he have with the Suns? I don't think he's gonna be making GM decisions, but is this something that can be done? If so, I think about it because now I'm getting a 2-for-1. I got two guys for that same 30 mil. And both of those guys can help me out. I don't need my 5-man to be like this unstoppable scorer. I got 3 of those guys. I got 3 guys that's unstoppable. That's how Golden State do it. They got Kevon Looney. Kevon Looney rarely takes any shots. But with this offense with KD, Bradley Beal, and Booker, Wiseman is he's gonna get reliable opportunities. They're gonna run the floor, so he's gonna get He runs like a deal, so he's gonna get opportunities in the open court, right? Probably not a lot of post ups, but with this floor spacing, he might get an opportunity to hit a lot of elbow jump shots, and maybe even stretch it to the three if he's working it hard this summer to work on his three. And then Bogdanovich is a guy who can defend the 3 and the 4, and then he can shoot at a ton. So I like that. Keep that in mind. I know Toronto is in, maybe some bit of a rebuild mode, but here's a 3-for-1, right? Can I get Anunoby? Otto Porter Jr. is someone who no one trusts to stay healthy and on the floor. Could I get Otto Porter Jr.? And then to make the money match up a little backup point guard in Flynn? Could I do something like that? But let's just say this Pistons trade is possible. There's another trade that's possible as well, because Portland is looking to do some things, and they have Grant, who is a free agent, but can they discuss a sign and trade with him? He made about 20 last year. So can I get Jeremy Grant, and maybe Nurkic for Ayton? Maybe not, right? Or can I get Portland to agree to a 3-team trade where I'm still working with Detroit. I still get Wiseman. Detroit will get Ayton. Bogdanovich will actually go to Portland, and the sign and trade will end up getting Grant. And can they work it out that way where we end up with Grant on our roster and Wiseman on our roster, right? So just keep that in mind. Detroit and Portland, Jeremy Grant or Bogdanovich, whichever one. I'm cool with both of them, but I think I got more upside defensively. And with the team, with Grant being so versatile and being able to switch screens and play the 4 and the 3, he can even guard some 2s as well. So I think that'll be real fun to play with. So keep that in mind as well. So once I make that trade, Ayton's gone. That $30 million cap hit. I got 2 players for the price of 1. And now I'm going shopping in the free agency, right? Now I'm going point guard shopping, right? There's a lot of point guards out there. I don't want to be real small with my point guards. I want some size. So, but I also want some defense and some shooting. So I don't know. You think about it. There's Dennis Schroeder up top. He played for the vet minimum in LA. I know a lot of rumors are that Chris Paul might be going to LA now that he got in that trade. He might get bought out in Washington, so he might go to LA. So if he goes to LA and they're trying to sign Austin Reeves, they got to let one of those guards go. They got Lonnie Walker, they got Dennis Schroeder, they got Malik Beasley, all free agents, right? They're not keeping all 3 of those guys along with Austin Reeves and Chris Paul if they bring him in. So whichever one of those guys is gone, I'm taking. Now, you will not go see Walker on this list because they got him listed as a shooting guard, and you see him at the bottom of the screen, Lonnie Walker. But to me, he's a point guard and he can play point guard. He did both for the Lakers. So whichever one of those guys come available, I'm snagging, right? Perfect scenario, I think it would be Schroeder. He's been on playoff teams. He's a vet, and he's cheap, and he plays really good defense, and he can knock down the open shot, the open 3. He can get to the hole. He's a floor general. I like Schroeder, but if Schroeder's not available and I have to get Lonnie Walker, I'm cool with that. But for this scenario, let's say we get Dennis Schroeder, right? There's a lot of shooting out there. Lonnie Walker, you got Malik Beasley, you got Matt Strauss, you got defense right there with Thabalou. Let's say we re-sign Josh Okogie. Maybe we just keep him. We re-sign him, right? Maybe not. But for now, I know I got Schroeder. I'm picking Schroeder up, right? Small forward, Cam Johnson. Could he come back? Maybe he felt like he played good in Brooklyn and he's looking for a huge contract. So we might not be able to afford him. I don't know what Herb Jones' situation is going to be. I'm pretty sure the Pelicans like to keep them. But can we get Jay Crowder back? He wanted a lot of money. He sat out last year. They tried to get a long contract with the Suns. Sat out the whole year. Finally got picked up by the Bucks. The Bucks barely played him. Is he going to be looking for that same amount of money now? Can we go and negotiate with him, bring him in? Maybe we can get Jay Crowder, or maybe Watanabe, which was a hustle guy, defensive guy, catch and shoot 3-point guy. I like Watanabe as well, but in this scenario, we get Dre Crowder. Power forwards, I mean, some good ones out there. Trey Lyles, Jeff Green leaving from the defending champs. He might not resign. There's Jeremy Grant up the top. Harrison Barnes. Like, there's a lot of options at forward. But like I said, in that scenario, somehow in that trade, either we deal with Portland with the signing trade and swapping Ayton and Nurkic, or we get a 3-team trade where we're getting Bogdanovic and Wiseman, but we're sending Bogdanovic to Portland in the signing trade for Jeremy Grant. That's my scenario. Trey Lyles is also a good pickup for real cheap. These are guys that we probably can get for the vet minimum, except Jeremy Grant. But the other guys, they're going to be probably looking for their vet minimum on a contender. And then you got all types of options at the center position, right? Do you want all defense and rebounding? There's Andre Drummond. If you want some shooting and some veteran leadership, there's Kevin Love. If you want some young talent who can stretch the floor, who also got size, there's Moritz Wagner from Orlando. I really like him. I think the Lakers drafted him, man. He was real good player. A lot of people don't know about how good he is, man, but you got that. But if all that fails, you can always go and call Dwight Howard and DeMarcus Cousins. So in this scenario, I'm going DeMarcus. No, I'm going Dwight, right? I'm going Dwight. So the roster is going to look like my starting five. That's my backcourt of Bill Booker. Then I got Durant, Jeremy Grant, and Wiseman, right? Everybody's long and athletic. They're going to buy in. They're going to be defensive. And then my bench, I'm coming off the bench with Schroeder, Ross, Crowder, Trey Lyles, Dwight Howard. That's hard to beat. That's a 10-man rotation that I think is a contender, and it's not hard to get. Everybody on my bench right there, you can get everybody on the bench for the vet minimum. Everybody on the bench you can get for the vet minimum. Schroeder, Ross is already there, just re-sign him, vet minimum. Crowder, he might be the only one that's a little bit different because he sat out the whole last season trying to get a contract, trying to get more money. So that one might be a little tricky, but I mean, I don't mind going elsewhere. We had a list of forwards that we could have got right. Trey Lyles, vet minimum. Again, we don't know if Sacramento, if they're smart, they'll continue to keep Lyles. You know, they'll keep Lyles there if they're smart. And then Dwight Howard just sitting in Tawan, just waiting on somebody to call him. That's not hard to build your bench, right? It's not hard at all, right? So in the starting lineup, all it takes is you finding a trade partner for Ayton and getting a 2-for-1, right? You already got your 3. You already got your wings. Can you get a forward in the center for Deandre Ayton and your second round draft pick that you got, which is like number 52, right? So there's your 10-man roster. A couple of more guys that you might keep to make it a 12-man roster. You probably can keep TJ Warren, maybe even Torrey Craig for defense, right? And then, like I said, Jock Landale as well, right? So I think that's very possible. I think those pieces fit. I think Frank Vogel know what to do with that. They have a good defensive philosophy. I think